going wrong, YouTube? So what we're going to do is a basic flight control training for drones. Okay, so as you can see on the screen, on the computer screen down in the right hand corner, you got your control, and it's basically going to mimic what's going to put down on the left hand screen of what my fingers are doing. Now, I feel the most precise way to control and hold a drone or a radio is by pinching it. Okay, a lot of people they just do their thumbs, but there's too much. I feel that there's way too much, I guess not error, but there's just too much play, okay, with these delicate machines and the precision and really the limited range that you're really going. Pinching is definitely going to provide the most accurate controls. Okay, so make sure you know the orientation of all your controls. These are on the Realflight, they're a little bit different. Like your idle up is complete opposite for drones compared to what a helicopter is. Okay, so definitely get familiarized. Your right-handed stick, if you push it forward, you're gonna lean the drone or the aircraft forward. Okay, when you're up in the air afterwards. Okay, left, right, back. It's gonna obviously go towards you. Right when you're in the tail in orientation. Your left-handed stick right here, what this does is this is the throttle. Once you go up, it's your more throttle. Okay, and then what left and right does is it pushes your nose to either to the right if you push it to the right, or if you push it to the left, your nose goes to the left. Okay, so first things first, the most important thing to any flight is a hover. You got to practice hovering. That's the first and foremost I can actually tell you. So just slowly bring it up. It should be around the middle part where you should start hovering, start taking off, right? You know, and just try to keep that elevation. Try to keep that elevation right there. Let's try to keep that elevation steady, right? Just a nice hover. Okay, drones are a lot more stable than helicopters. Okay, once we got that, by all means, you know your point where which you're gonna be hovering. Cool. Go left, see what it feels like. Go right, feel it. See what it feels like. Let's go forward. Okay, see what it feels like. Goes backwards, see what it feels like. Okay. Now, you could turn your drone, it's just going to hover, right? Make sure you keep a safe distance away from you. Let's treat the simulator as a simulator. It's not just a video game. It's an actual simulator to teach you how to fly, right? It's easier, or not easier, but it's better to crash on this than it is your actual machine, okay? Less expensive too. So we'll just turn it, to the left, and then you can see, right? It's just now you're a nose in, okay? Now, for this first part of the video, it might be a two-part. We'll see how long they get. We're gonna talk about just not the forward position yet, right? We're just gonna, I'll absolutely go as fast as you can if you want. Get comfortable with the machine, lean it over, see how far, see how fast and what the controls will do. This is the simulator, right? So let's bring it down. Let's pull that left stick down a little bit. Right, let's bring her down a little bit more manageable height. Okay, and just keep that hover. Okay, let's go for a little cruise. Let's go forward. Okay, so you can see, I'm probably in an idle up or something. So come back. This is a pretty docile machine. This is a larger machine. Okay, come back, and it's going to come towards you. So if it's still coming, just give her a little throttle, give her a little yaw forward, right? Give that left stick a little forward. Now, you want to try to, keep your orientation, or not your orientation, absolutely. But you can see that there's, some people put red lights or any sort of lighting on the back of your machine, so you can differentiate the orientation, right? Sometimes it's a little bit difficult, like on drones, okay? So try to keep it more or less just stable, right? Because the first thing and the last thing that you're ever going to do when you fly is a hover, is a steady hover. Okay, so let's just come in. Let's bring it down. Let's have it, but that's going a little too fast. So bring up your throttle a little bit. right? So just bring her down, like nice and gently, right? Nice and gently, and like you could kind of see on the screen, with the stick positioning, you're not really being able to see my fingers, like how minute, but on the screen, on the computer, it's a lot more visual, okay? So let's pop her back up. Okay, let's go have some fun. Let's go forward, right? Keep that altitude. Okay, try to keep that altitude. Okay, awesome. Stop. Come back. Let's drop the altitude up a little bit, right? Let's try to drop that altitude. Keep that altitude the same. That's what we're trying to do. Come back, right? Keep that altitude. And remember, one little tip I have for you. Typically, as long as you're flying in an open setting or whatnot, you have unlimited ceiling, meaning you can go up. So don't panic. With drones or with flying, don't panic. You know, with the drones, the nice thing with it, they are so stable. And if you panic, just let go of the stick, right? Like say, for instance, let's go to the left. Just let go of the stick. It's just going to hover there, you know, and it's just going to do its thing. Then you can kind of recover and then just take a deep breath, right? Come back and orientate, you know, accordingly, okay? Now, go back to forward, okay? Keep that tail towards you, right? So let's go back a little bit. Okay, perfect. Nice hover, okay? Let's come in for a nice little landing. Let's bring your altitude. Don't want to drop your stick. You want to come nice and easy. So that's not too bad of a landing. That's even a little harder than I like to do on my drones. So let's pop her back up. Okay. Now let's pop her to like a good altitude. You know, 3-4 meters up. You know, 6 to 9 feet or whatnot. You know, that's a couple meters only. But let's go for, you know, a side. Let's go side. Okay, see what it's doing. Okay, well, let's stop it. So we got to go to a little bit to the right, okay, just to stop that. Okay, we're going to go a little right. Okay, perfect. Awesome. Okay, okay, we want to stop. Now we got to do a little bit left. Awesome. Perfect. Now let's bring this tail towards us. See, we're losing orientation a little bit, so let's bring it towards us a wee little bit. Bring down that altitude a little bit. And I'm actually adjusting my left stick. I am playing with the altitude, but I'm also playing with the tail, because what I would like you to do to start with is definitely learn your tail in. Okay, keep that tail towards you, because that's probably going to be your most comfortable position in which you're flying, because it's more natural. It's like you're in that cockpit by yourself, right? And especially when you're flying first person, which we will get into. Absolutely. Okay, so let's go for, now that you practice this, let's say that you progressed, you're you know, ultimately comfortable with just, you know, hovering around and coming in and you know, keeping that orientation. Play around with it. Keep that orientation towards you, right? Let's go for just like some circles. Let's do some circles. Let's go to the left. Okay, and now what you're going to have to do with the drone, you have to yaw it to the left, okay, but you also have to that nose. You also have to bring that nose to the left as well, okay, when you're going left. Because if you just turn it, if you just yaw to the let's say right or left, and you don't do the nose, you're not necessarily going to turn your camera or, you know, fly forward and fly, you know, in a nice circle. Now you notice, I don't know if you can notice, but hopefully you can notice with that controller the size it is on the screen, I am pushing my right stick slightly forward to give it a little forward momentum. Okay, so let's do the same thing. Let's just continue on. Let's come back, right? And if I'm watching the whole, this is an octocopter, but I'm watching the whole drone, right? And if it's the nose is not following, then you know, it's not turning fast enough. Well, you just turn your left stick a little bit faster, like a little bit more, to the extreme exaggeration of the throw of your sticks. Just keep going. Nice left. Nice left. Perfect. Right. Trying to keep that elevation. Some drones, they're a lot easier to fly just because the electronics and the navigation, so not necessarily the navigation, but the gyros and the altimeters and whatever have you that's built into it, or the motherboard or whatever you got on there. Some are, you know, they overcorrect, not overcorrect, but they're a lot easier to fly because they do, you know, have GPS holding, you know, altitude, you name it, right? Some even have obstacle avoidance and everything of the sort. Cool. So we're not too far into the video or whatever have you. Let's bust into the second part. Okay, let's go nose in. Okay, now because sometimes what I do when you drones are meant for aerial photography primarily, right? So if you're going out, like let's say for instance, we're going to take the drone out. Let's go, you know, off into the distance, right? I don't fly with glasses. There are some nice glasses out there I see, like goggles and whatever have you. But let's say for instance you're coming in from a flight, okay, and you see yourself or whatever. I look up as soon as I can see my quadcopter, my helicopter. I fly like I'm the third person. Okay, I'm on the ground. So when you're coming in, you got to learn the orientation of your nose in. So the camera in or your nose in. Okay. Now your controls are going to be opposite. Now you're like, what do you mean? But it's not opposite. It's just opposite of their orientation for what you're looking at, right? So keep a nice steady hover, right? Try to go to the right. See, we're going right, but in actuality, we're going to the, like we're pushing it left, but we're actually going right, right? If you catch what I'm talking about here. So, you know, forward is still forward, but it's not forward because it would technically be backwards, right? So practice with your nose in orientation. By all means, you know, practice, you know, even landing orientating forward, you know, stopping your drone and hovering in the nose in orientation. Absolutely, that's definitely one of those skills that you wanna do. So let's go backwards, like we're pulling the stick back, but we're gonna go push a little bit forward because we want to stop going backwards. Now we got to go come towards us. Okay. Now that orientation for the nose, right? We want to don't go yaw that way. We want to come straight. Try to make straight lines for yourself, right? I know it sounds tedious and whatever have you, but things like this, you know, learning your orientations, your muscle memory, that's the name of the game. Okay, groovy, cool. So that's all well and good, and you know, like you know, go for a little flight. You know, let's. It's always good, in my personal opinion. You know, like do some repetitions, and then go and try something fun. You know, and then afterwards you're going to come back to it because your muscles and your mind, truthfully, they need a break. Absolutely, they need a break. Right? You need to go work on something else. Let's go work on some like S-turns, right? Just even some forward momentum, right? Even off to the side. Now we got to learn side orientation, right? How is that drone going to react for your controls, right? You're looking at it. And try not to look at your controls, right? Just keep focused on that, on the machine, because sometimes you can lose orientation and you never know. Just you never know. So let's fly it towards us, nose in, right? Okay, let's stop her. Let's pull back the stick, right? Let's just come into a nice hover, right? Let's pick up the altitude because I don't want to drop that much. I'm going backwards, go forward a little bit, right? Okay, we're pretty much stable. So we're dropping in altitude. There we go. That's a nice landing, right? Nice soft landing. So we'll pop it up. Okay, give her some forward or like some orientation so we're tail in. Okay, now what I want to work on, or I want to actually do, is let's go into the view. Okay, and we can go and we'll go into the gimbal. Okay, so like we're flying first person. Okay, I don't know necessarily if we can actually. I think we're right by the windsock. Okay, it won't show us, but we're right by the windsock. Okay, so you know we can go fly around just like we're in a cockpit. So forward is forward. Right, let's go do some cruising around. Okay, and if we go left, like for instance, if we go left, we're only going to be yawing left. So remember, definitely, you know, turn your nose to go to the left or to the right. You know, and let's go, like for instance, let's go hang around these trees. Let's go take some videos of this tree. So what I do is, if I'm doing this, I like to, it's kind of weird, right? But if I'm going to the right, you got to turn your nose to the left, okay? Because I'm trying to focus right? Well, if I'm going to do a circular motion, you can take a look at some of my other videos. We're going to do a circular video, and the thing of it is this drone, like, this is just a computer simulator. Your drone at home will fly a little bit different because you got different characteristics, right? You got, you know, windage and elevation, everything, right? And even the size of the quadcopter, the hexacopter, octocopter, whatever, it's going to make a huge difference, right? Electronics. So you see how I'm trying to keep that orientation of those trees right in the center, right? Right in the center of my camera, right? So, okay, groovy, cool. That's where it's at, right? So try to keep her, right? That's what we're trying to do, go around. Okay, so let's go back to our flying site, okay? So I see it off in the distance. So point my nose towards there. That's the left stick, right? Okay, we're cruising, we're cruising, we're cruising. Okay, let's drop our altitude. And I have the navigation up because, like for instance, on my DJIs that I fly, they do tell you the height and how far away you are, right? So, you know, bring in your, you want to slow down. You want to slow down. Oops, 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 oops. You can see the ground, right? Fly the ground now when you're in the first person. Okay, try to get her in a nice smooth hover. There we go. Nothing's really moving. We're dropping, not too fast. We don't want to go too fast down, right? We don't want to drop. Here we go. There we go. There we go. Popped it down, right? So, but like I said, when I fly, I don't necessarily fly, like land first person. I'm just not comfortable that way, right? I guess it would take time with my drone, but you're more than welcome to, like, definitely practice. You know, I'll take my aerial photography with the drone, with the camera, but when I come in for a landing, I'll just, let me demonstrate it right here. Okay, let's go for out. Okay. So as I'm coming in, I would obviously come in towards me, so I'm nose in, right? So it's coming nose in, okay, I'm going to start slowing down now, okay? Start slowing down, okay? And even to this day, what I'll do is I'll come in for a nice hover, I'll slow down, okay? And what I'll do is just drop my altitude. But then, since I personally, and I'm pretty sure you're going to be the same way, since I am more comfortable, the most comfortable rather, I'm still comfortable in the first, like, nose in, still comfortable in nose in, like landing. I'm still going to land primarily with my tail in towards me. It's just because I feel like I'm in the cockpit, but I like to see my landing area. I like to just see those type of things, right? So ultimately, that's what I would suggest for the basic steps to get better with drone flying. Drones are a lot more stable and a lot more docile. You can get them fast. You can obviously not manipulate, but manipulate your curves and whatever have you with your speed controls and your radios, depending on what it is, to be a lot more agile. But drones typically are a lot more docile, and they're a lot more just stable platforms because your propellers, that's your fulcrums. Technically, like on a helicopter, your fulcrum's in the center. Here, you really don't have any fulcrums. You're on the exterior, right? It's kind of like like those cruise ships, not the cruise ships, but the catamarans, right? Versus a sailboat. They're still both sailboats, but your typical bow, right? You could tip over, but a catamaran, you got, the two platforms on each side. They're just more stable. This is the most stable platform. Yeah. So hopefully this video made a little sense to you. Maybe, hopefully it continues, or builds a little bit of confidence and puts you in the right direction, because it is what it is. So, like I said, let's just review real quick. Pinch your controls, right? I feel that's something that I've done, and I just absolutely, because when you're pushing forward, you're pushing back. When you're pinching something, it's just a lot more precise, right? Your first and last thing that you're going to be doing when you are droning or flying a helicopter is your hover and your landing. So When you take off, you're hovering. When you're landing, you're coming in for a hover. So that's one of the most important things that you're going to be doing over and over again. So definitely practicing your hovering, right? Practicing, just your muscle memory on where your drone is, where the hover point is, right? What's the characteristics of it flying, and being smooth, because like drones, like I said, most people are using it for cinematography. Some racers and whatever have you. There's those racing drones and whatever have you. But a lot of people are using these drones for cinematography, and you want it when you're doing your videos. You want to be nice and smooth, right? I mean, don't get me wrong. You got your gimbal and whatever have you on your camera to make things a lot less jittery and a lot more smooth. But in essence, you don't want to have things too fast. But play around, have fun with it, right? There's endless possibilities that you can actually do with drones. Yeah, so learn your orientation, come in, right? Let's just come in for a landing, bring it down, let it have it come down, stop it. Boom, there you go. Okay. That's what it is. Awesome. So keep on keeping on. If you liked it, thank you very much.